So we're going to go ahead and discuss our property condition reports, And if you're still following along in your landlord resource guide, you will see kind of a little chart or picture chart of what we are looking for, what we're checking for during these property condition reports. And this is actually another one of my favorite parts during this property management, because it really allows me at these points to reconnect with you as a landlord, to reconnect with your resident, and make sure that those lines of communication are not only open, but that we are, really doing our job. So for me, these property condition reports are our reality check. Okay, so we've done our move-in orientation, we've laid out those expectations, we've taken care of any notices as we've needed to take care of. We've taken care of their maintenance items, hopefully in a timely manner, which is something that we always work with you in order to do. And now we get to these property condition reports that really give us a reality check of what's going on. Okay, so this is something that's done on a quarterly basis every 3 months. We're actually in the property and we are doing these property condition reports. Now, as opposed to writing a whole bunch of things, good, great, better, best, whatever the case may be, instead of doing that for these reports, we rely heavily on photo documentation. And the reason why we do that is because in specializing with just the busy individual, the busy landlord, or whether you're an absentee landlord, meaning you're not local to our area, so you really don't know what your property looks like, what it has looked like in a few years. You haven't physically been to the property. Because we specialize in those types of landlords, we rely very heavily on photo documentation. Okay, and with that, instead of me saying small stain on carpet, you may look at it and say large stain on carpet. We're both looking at it and saying this is the stain on the carpet. Okay, so it really helps clear up the lines of communication. And even when going back and speaking with your resident about the property condition report, which we'll talk a little bit more about, those are things that are very helpful, is that photo documentation. Okay. So looking at this, we're checking on the exterior. So if they're responsible for lawn care, we had one situation where the little girl of one of the residents had been, just playing ball outside and kicking it up against the side of the house. Those are things where we noticed in that property condition report at that time, like, hey, this is something she doesn't want to continue to do. You don't want to allow her to continue to do because it will cause damage to the property that you as the resident will be responsible for. Okay, so things like that we're able to kind of locate and pinpoint at the property condition report time frame. So we're checking out the exterior, we're checking the security. So are the doors and the locks okay? Those sort of things. And the reason why we check on that, a lot of times residents don't report those things, but if something happens, it's possible that as a landlord you may be held liable for that if it's something you should have known about. So again, part of our job and responsibility is to make sure we're decreasing your liability. So we're definitely checking on that at the time as well. We're looking for cleanliness. If it's cluttered, or if it smells. Sometimes a lot of smells are hard to get out. Or, when it comes time for showing the property again, those are things we don't want to wait until that time frame to try to address with the resident. We want to address it right away. We're looking at the flooring to see, depending on if it's carpet or if it's hardwood, we're looking at if there's any rips or tears, if it's carpet, or if there's any scratches or grooves or anything like that in the flooring, if it's hardwood or something of that nature. We're looking, if they have pets, we're looking for any signs of pet damage. Early on, we're looking if they have unapproved pets, something that did not come through the office. We're looking to see if they've been changing their air filter. And that's very important to make sure that your HVAC system is working to its peak capacity, okay? And that, they're not diminishing the lifespan of your HVAC system by not changing those AC filters. And that's even more important when they have pets in the property. We're also looking at the dryer lint screen, and we're trying to see if that's something that's clean or not clean. Even if they have provided their own wash and dryer, it's still very important because it could be hazardous in the event that it could cause a fire if they're not changing it properly, if they're not cleaning it properly, those sort of things. So we like to make sure. We're also checking the P-traps that's under the sink to see if they're stuffing too many things under the sink. A lot of times they can push so much under the sink that they cause leaks under there, and they don't notice it for a long time. So then that's what happens when the bottom of the sinks rot out and have to be replaced because they don't notice it. They have so much stuff under there. So we like to check that out as well and see if that's becoming an issue or will be an issue. And then we're also looking for any unreported maintenance items. So that's very important. So we're looking at all of those items during this time of the property condition reports. And again, it's on a quarterly basis or every 3 months, and that's something that we take pride in, because not a lot of property managers, not a lot of companies out there, I really don't know of any, but I always, leave room for one, but who do it at that frequency. Okay, the reason why we do it at this frequency, again, it brings us back to that reality check. Has everything that we've been doing, have all the things that we have kind of packed into your services, how well have they been working? Okay, and we go in and we see, based on the property condition report, if we need to tweak some things, if we need to tweak your management plan in general. And that doesn't mean your cost, it means how we're managing your property to ensure that we're delivering on everything that we've promised you. Okay, so if we get to the property and we've done the property condition report, of course everyone gets access to it, so you as the landlord have access to it, the resident also has access to it. But if we get there and things are great, that's fine. We let you know that you have a great resident. But if things are not so great, then we actually sit down with the resident and we have a conversation with them, and we let them know, here are the things that you're doing really, really well, and here are the things that we really need to improve upon. And again, it comes back to those notices, where if it's things that require a notice, we'll go ahead and serve them with their notice. And then we'll come back and verify that it has been fixed, it has been corrected and updated. We actually had one student property. We had a student property where we went in for this property condition report, and actually for a student property, it looked great. But one of the things that happened was the vertical blinds that were on, kind of going out to the patio, 2 of those had been broken. And another one looked like it had been messed up as well. So instead of waiting to the end of their lease term to get into this large dispute or whatever, in order to have them fix this and take it out of their security deposit, that was something where we had a discussion with them. This is something that they acknowledged that was their fault and they were negligent on. We actually got a vendor out to the property to fix it and repair it, and then the residents were charged for that then and there. So that's a problem that we were able to acknowledge, get taken care of, and now it's not a point of contention later on. And those are types of things that we do and that come out of these property condition reports, and that's the reason why we focus on them so heavily. Not only are they our reality check, but it is also kind of our opportunity that if something is going a little south as far as the resident that's living in your property, we can actually save and prevent a lot of the things that happen by going ahead and taking care of it early. All right. So again, if you have any other questions on that, feel free to let us know. See you soon.